All right, hello and welcome. Today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to slow things down. We're going to explore this idea, this invitation really, that values our pace over just pure speed and preserving things over just scaling them up. It's all about the quiet power of our own lived experiences. So let's get into it.
So, this is the core idea right here. It's basically saying that real life, all the work, the family stuff, the losses, the changes we go through, it builds this kind of practical wisdom that, let's be honest, you're just never going to find in a classroom. So, if you're someone who feels that, who carries that kind of wisdom inside you, well, this is for you.
Just think about this for a second. Have you ever been in a class, or maybe a workshop, some training session for a new piece of software, and you just felt rushed? Like everyone else was getting it and you were being left behind. That feeling that you're just out of sync, it's super common. And honestly, it's really frustrating for a lot of very, very capable people.
Okay, so if that question resonated with you at all, then you are in exactly the right place. This whole approach, this whole idea was designed specifically as an answer to those kinds of negative experiences. It's meant to be a space that just works differently.
So first things first, let's just get some common worries out of the way. This whole thing is designed to take the pressure off. You absolutely do not need to be a writer. You don't have to be some kind of tech genius who's good with computers. And maybe most importantly, you're not here to perform. You don't have to prove a thing. This is not a test.
So if it's not a test, then what is it, right? Well, it's a supported environment. The whole idea here is that confidence and competence, they're connected. They grow together. You can't really have one without the other, so they need to be built up step by step at the same time.
And this is the big shift. Look at this. Instead of feeling rushed, we're talking about moving at a human pace. Instead of feeling overlooked, your lived experience is actually seen as the valuable knowledge that it is. And instead of technology making you feel, well, incompetent, it's reframed. It becomes a helpful assistant, not some kind of judge of your skills.
And this is so important to get. The goal here is not perfection. It's not about creating some flawless, polished final product. No, the real goals are clarity, confidence, and preservation. It's about getting clear in your own head, building back the confidence in your own voice, and making sure the wisdom you carry is preserved. For you, and maybe for others down the line.
This all leads us to the big why behind this whole project. Why does this even exist? Well, it was created because of a really unsettling trend that's happening in the world today. It's about what happens when good people go quiet. This comes directly from the founder's own experience. She talks about watching capable people just step back, watching all this incredible wisdom stay locked inside while, these louder and frankly lower quality stories seem to dominate everything. We all lose out when that happens. And this right here, this just nails the diagnosis. The problem isn't that people lack capacity. It's not that we've lost our intelligence or our grit. Not at all. The problem is that the pathways, the systems that are supposed to help us share that knowledge, they're breaking down. They're becoming too fast, too impersonal, just inhumane. And this isn't just some abstract theory from a book. It's deeply, deeply personal. It's a work that's really born from the founder's own life, from her family, and from listening to the specific wisdom of the people she loved. So meet her parents. Her dad, Mike, nicknamed Blackjack. He was a guy with a philosopher's mind. He just knew how systems worked, how cycles turned. And her mom, Rita, or Bubbles. She had a caregiver's heart, and she was the one who carried all the family stories, the songs, that deep, intuitive wisdom. Their lives, their knowledge, that's the real foundation of this whole mission. This just gets right to the heart of it all. It's this powerful sense of loss that's been transformed into a gift for other people. It's about building the very thing you wish you'd had, to stop others from feeling that same regret of watching wisdom just fade into silence. Okay, so with that really powerful why in our minds, let's take a look at how this all actually works. The approach is super deliberate. It's all about rebuilding participation right from the ground up. This sequence right here, this is basically the engine of the whole process. It all starts with small wins, little things that build competence. And that competence, in turn, builds genuine confidence. Once you have that confidence, it helps you find your voice again. And once you have your voice, you can choose to participate. And when you participate, your knowledge starts to circulate. And what does that do? It fuels our collective civic imagination about what's actually possible. And the tools used here are chosen just as carefully. Writing is a big one because it forces us to slow down our thinking in a world that's always rushing. Reflection is absolutely key because that's what restores our sense of agency, our control over our own stories. And it's all hosted in libraries, which, when you think about it, are some of the last truly trusted, non-commercial civic spaces we have left.
And yeah, the program might be called Write Your Story, but I want you to think of it more like a wisdom gathering quest. The writing, that's just the form it takes. It's the vehicle. The real point, the real goal is to organize what you've lived through and figure out how to express it clearly, on your own terms.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a second, because as personal and human-sized as all this work is, it's also a direct answer to some of the biggest questions that we are all wrestling with as a society right now.
Like this one. Who gets to shape the future? I mean, really. Is it only going to be the loudest voices? The ones with the most money or the biggest platform? Or is there still room for that quiet, practical wisdom that's held in our communities?
And that leads right into this question. Whose knowledge actually counts? What kind of knowledge do we as a society value? Is it just the data that can be crunched in a spreadsheet and optimized? Or does the lived experience of navigating a life, raising a family, adapting to constant change, does that count too? And we'll end on this thought. In a world that so often just wants us to be passive, to just consume, waiting around for permission to speak can start to feel like a form of surrender. This work offers a completely different path. It's a quiet, deliberate way of reclaiming your place in the conversation, and, just as importantly, inviting others to do the very same thing.